Total Screen proudly presents their official podcast, On Screen, with your hosts, Tyson Gifford and William Rohrig. Hello, everybody, and welcome to On Screen, the official podcast of the Total Screen. My name is Tyson.
My name is Will.
And today we are going to be tackling our best of 2025 awards. Well, not really awards because we're not actually giving anything out, but we're making our picks in various categories for the best of 2025 across video games, movies, and TV. We have a bunch of categories to go over. That's our main topic for the night. We've also got our typical On the Horizon segment, and we've got an On Beat segment where we just completely ignored any news stories and just stuck with some of the trailers. There were a shit ton of trailers that came out since the last podcast. We've been gone for 3 weeks or whatever. So it's been a while, but we narrowed it down to kind of like the core essentials because we didn't want to get weighed down in that before we got into our main topic. But let's get started with our On the Horizon segment.
On the horizon.
On the Horizon is where we talk about what's coming up in the next week or so. This time it's just 1 week because we're going to be back next week. And we're going to start things off with The Night Manager. What's interesting about this is a TV show. It stars Tom Hiddleston, who played Loki. But the first season of the show was 10 years ago. So talk about a long, people complain about 2 years between seasons. Try 10. Night Manager Season 2 is coming on Sunday, January 11th to Amazon Prime. The original season was like on AMC, I think. So it's like not even on the same service or channel or whatever. Then we've got Hijack Season 2. This is with Idris Elba, where he plays like a negotiator. That's coming on Wednesday, January 14th to Apple TV+. Star Trek Starfeleet Academy. I'm not exactly sure even what this is, but it's another Star Trek show coming on Thursday, January 15th to Paramount+. Animal Crossing New Horizons Nintendo Switch 2 edition drops on Thursday, January 15th on the Switch 2. There's also an update coming for the Switch 1 version that I believe is free that has a bunch of new stuff as well. The Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon comes out on Thursday, January 15th to PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, and Switch 2. This also marks the first time that the Legend of Heroes, the Trail series, part of the Legend of Heroes games, is caught up with Japan now. Although this game did come out like over a year ago in Japan. But now they're caught up. Now like every game in that franchise is out in the US. The Rip, this is a movie that stars Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, is coming on Friday, January 16th to Netflix. 28 years later, The Bone Temple is coming on Friday, January 16th to theaters. Dead Man's Wire is coming on Friday, January 16th to theaters as well. This is a Gus Van Sant movie. Stars Bill Skarsgård, Decree Montgomery from Stranger Things, Carrie Elways from The Princess Bride. It's based on a true story. It's a guy with taking a hostage or something. He's in a messed up situation. He kind of becomes like a folk hero, but it's based on a true story. That's coming on Friday, January 16th to theaters as well. Night Patrol is coming on Friday, January 16th to theaters. That is the police vampire. It's like doing the kind of whole police violence against black people story where they're making the police vampires, and it's got Justin Long. We talked about the trailer for it, you and I, but we didn't end up covering it on the show. But that is coming out in theaters on Friday, January 16th. All You Need Is Kill. This is the anime version of Edge of Tomorrow, basically. Like Edge of Tomorrow was based on All You Need Is Kill, which was a light novel, which became a manga, and now there is an anime for it. We talked about the trailer.
An anime was also a major motion picture. Will soon be a musical on Broadway.
Yep.
Will soon be,
yeah. And then it's just going to be like toasters and microwaves after that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's coming on Friday, January 16th to theaters. Again, this is basically Edge of Tomorrow, but with like a slightly different story. Like they took liberties with Edge of Tomorrow, and they're also taking liberties with this. It's not exactly a true adaptation of the manga or light novel either. But a lot of movies coming out on Friday, January 16th.
A busy day. Get that Movie Pass subscription.
Yeah. But we're going to move on now from our On the Horizon segment, and we're going to talk about some trailers in our On Beat segment. On Beat. So the trailers we're going to talk about today, we've got 4 of them. Well, technically we've got like 6, but 3 of them are for the same thing.
And it makes no sense to talk about them as if they're like separate. So
yeah, we're going to start with, this was a surprise one. This one dropped today and I had never heard of it before. It's called They Will Kill You. And you made a good point before the podcast, which is this is basically Ready or Not with like somebody who actually knows how to fight.
Yeah, because like, this woman gets roped in by this rich, wealthy.
I think they're like a group. They're not like a family.
Yeah, they're not a family. They're a group. It's like this wealthy group who ropes her in, and they want to sacrifice her to the devil because they have to do a yearly sacrifice. Literally the same plot.
Yeah,
but this is more
grindhousey.
Yeah, this is more grindhousey because, like you said, unlike Ready or Not, the protagonist here can fight, and she immediately starts maiming and killing them. One thing I was annoyed by this trailer was it feels like you've seen half the movie already. A lot of kills are pretty much spoiled in this trailer. So
I think there's a lot more people than in Ready or Not. In Ready or Not, you had this family of 8 people or something. Yeah. I think this is going to have
this is set in a hotel.
30 to 100 people or something.
Yeah, instead of being set in a family mansion, this is set in a hotel, so there's definitely room for a lot more people to be involved.
Yeah,
sure.
So I think there's going to be a lot more deaths than what we saw. Yeah. This has a very grindhousey vibe to it. I think that's kind of cool. It looks really gory.
The director here is Andy Muschietti, who you might remember.
At the end, it listed a different director. I think he's producing this.
Oh, okay. I might have read it wrong then.
Yeah. Well, at the very beginning, it said from the director of it, and it had his name. But then at the end of the movie, it showed the credits, and it said directed by, and it had a completely different name.
Oh, okay. So he's producing it. Then.
Yeah, okay. He's producing this. But it looks like a fun grindhouse movie. It looks just like a fun, gory action movie. It is like a blatant ripoff of Ready or Not, but Ready or Not was really good, and it's a good format, and might as well,
Yeah, the director is...
Think about how many people ripped off The Most Dangerous Game, including Ready or Not.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. True. Director is Kirill Sokolov. I butchered that, but yeah, so.
If this was a video game, it would be called a Ready or Not Vania.
But yeah, it looks fun. I like Zazie Beetz. Zazie Beetz is cool.
Yeah, Domino from Deadpool 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
It looks like a fun time.
Yes, it does.
Next, we got a trailer for Wonder Man, and this is the first trailer that is actually a good trailer for for the Wonder Man series. They're no longer hiding the whole... I think the last trailer... I think there was a teaser, a trailer, and this is the second trailer, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I think in the last trailer, they hinted at him having powers, but they didn't actually show it. And here they're it's just, they're not hiding it anymore. It's you just let it be out in the open.
This showed more of Wonder Man and Ben Kingsley's character.
Travis. Is it Travis? Trevor.
Trevor, yes, Trevor. Their relationship in this as well, and then they got the whole setup of people auditioning for the role cannot have superpowers, and you see him he's just signing it, yeah. But he does have superpowers, and then apparently damage control is involved because they're oh, an unregistered soup or something. And that was kind of my enthusiasm dipped, because if the plot is going to be I don't know, he's trying to make this movie and he's on set and he has powers, he's not supposed to have powers, and he's concealing them, and then these goofy damage control characters are chasing him the entire show, but they're incompetent. If they're the same as they were in Miss Marvel or whatever,
they're the worst. They ruined that series.
It's going to be it's going to be tough to watch.
Yeah, that's the most unfortunate thing. Like I said, this is by far the best trailer for the show.
Yes.
It kind of gives you a better idea of what it is. The second damage control popped up, and that's all because of that. Who knows? Maybe they could do damage control right. We don't know. But the second they popped up, you start getting Miss Marvel flashbacks, and it's oh god,
yeah,
no,
they were
again.
Terrible in that show.
What I do like about this show is that this goes back to, I think, Marvel when they're at their best, is they don't make comic book movies. They make well-worn trope movies, but with comic book characters in it.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier is a 70s espionage movie. Guardians of the Galaxy is a lovable rogue space opera. It's Star Wars, basically, when they do that, that's when Marvel is at its best. That's when it really works. And this is playing on the idea of, there's a show last year, I forget we're in 2026 now, but last year there was a show called The Studio on Apple TV Plus that's basically like the same kind of thing that this show is doing, which is like the Hollywood parody type show. Movies like Bowfinger that were really good with Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin. This is like a well-worn tropey genre, and they're doing that, but then they're putting it into the comic book world, and then they're like escalating it by having him have powers and stuff. That's interesting. Like, I like that. I think that's when Marvel's at their best. I don't know if this is gonna be Marvel at their best. There's a lot of times Marvel's cut a trailer that looks really good, and then it comes out and it's like, no. Secret Invasion. Perfect example of that, you know? That trailer looked good for Secret Invasion. That show was not good.
That show was not good, yeah. That show was not good at all.
Yeah.
So, hoping for the best for this.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Sure.
I mean, it's destined Daniel Cretton. That's like a point of its favor. The negative, though, the things that, besides damage control, that give me more concern, is they are dropping this all at once instead of doing what they normally do, which is an episode a week. That tells me that they don't necessarily have confidence in it, which is unfortunate, because they're like telegraphing that they don't have confidence in it, which is like, why the fuck are you even doing that? And then the other issue that gives me a little bit of concern is that this was finished a while ago, and it was just kind of on the shelf.
Yeah, they kind of like,
and not because they were finishing special effects. It was like done for a while, and then it just sat on a shelf, which makes me go like, hopefully that's just because they didn't know exactly where to put this and, when to put it out, and then they just decided to do it now. But that combined with it all dropping at once, which, if Netflix did that, it wouldn't bother me, but Marvel doesn't really do that with their stuff, so it makes me a little concerned. I think the last time Marvel did that was with either Ironheart or Echo, which that's like alarm bells right there.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
But I'm hopeful. Next, we got 3 teasers for Avengers Doomsday with more on the way, but they've been releasing like one a week, and we've got 3 of them. The first one features Steve Rogers, which was the first confirmation that he was in it. There's lots of rumors that he was going to be in it, but this was the first confirmation that Steve Rogers is in the movie. He was not one of the names on the chairs, like Chris Evans wasn't one of the names on the chairs in that, how was that like 12-hour long chair video that came out that they were teasing where they were showing all the cast members, their names on the chairs? He was not one of the names on that. So the first teaser introduced him. The second teaser focused on Thor and his daughter. It was like him praying to his father about like protecting his daughter from like a life of violence. And then the third one is the X-Men, which we knew they were in this already. Like we knew Thor was in this. We knew the X-Men were in this. That had already been confirmed. But they kind of had their first like shots of that where we get to see Professor X, Magneto, and we got to see Cyclops.
That was the most hyped of the trailers for me. Like the first one was like,
well, nothing really happened in the other trailers.
Oh no, the first one was like a confirmation Chris Evans was returning, which because Chris Evans, when they did the cast like announcement and stuff, I don't believe Chris Evans was listed.
It was not. He was not. That was the chair thing I was talking about, the chair trailer. He was not.
Yeah, he was not. And so like that was something they were clearly keeping to their vest. Chris Evans was being coy. And this was the confirmation. The second one was like, it was Thor. I mean, it's fine. It's just, there's like nothing like amazing, it's Thor and like love, and he's like praying that he can like keep her safe. It's like, it's fine. Trailer. But like the big one for me was the X-Men trailer. Yeah. Seeing like the Fox X-Men, that intro with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and then seeing Cyclops in the yellow and blue.
Accurate garb, yeah.
With the optic blast, looking like he's at the height of despair, like freaking unleashing his full optic blast. That got me hyped more than the other 2.
I think the most important thing that comes from all 3 of these teasers, though, is something that was also in the post-credits scene for Fantastic Four, which was our first shot of Doctor Doom in the MCU, even though it wasn't really Robert Downey Jr. It was just like a behind shot of his back,
Right.
But what was he doing in the first shot we have him in? He was like hanging over looking at Franklin Richards.
Yeah.
What's the first teaser we got with Captain America? It's that Steve Rogers has a son.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What's the second teaser we get with Thor? It's Thor trying to protect his daughter from like a life of violence.
Right.
Who is in a state of despair at the end of the X-Men trailer. And what role does he have in the comics as well?
Yep. I mean,
they're doing something about fatherhood.
Yeah.
That's like the kind of running theme through these that we've seen so far.
I mean, Scott is a father, but also like it's complicated.
Well, yeah, but I could totally see them playing on that idea, like I think that's why they showed him at the end specifically.
Right, yeah.
So I think Doom is like abducting children or something.
You can also like make the argument that Professor Xavier sees Scott as a son.
Yeah, like father figure roles, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, in a sense, like Professor X and Magneto are kind of like father figures, not necessarily in the Fox X-Men universe totally, but in X-Men in general, they kind of both have led at different times, you know?
Well, the unfortunate thing about like the Fox X-Men movies is like they really like sidetracked Cyclops.
Yeah, they just made him kind of annoying.
Yeah, they made him annoying, and they did give him like enough screen time or like treat him as important as he is, and so it's kind of like, oh yeah. So we never like really got a chance to explore that in the Fox X-Men films, unfortunately. So hopefully we get like more of that here.
Yeah, definitely. But that's the Avengers trailers. There's already another one out focusing on Wakanda, but that's leaked. It's not like officially out.
Oh, you spoiled it. Spoiled it.
We'll talk about that and, you know, other
trailers. Talk about that one next week as it comes out. So we don't have like Disney lawyers like being down on our podcast being like, talk about stuff you're not authorized to talk about. No.
Yeah.
I didn't see nothing.
And then the last thing we got the first full trailer for the Odyssey. So interestingly, they did do a teaser before this, but it only came out in theaters. It was never released online. I thought that that's what they were going to do again. And then when this trailer came out, I'm like, oh, they finally released the teaser. But no, this is like a completely different trailer for the movie. Also interesting, I got something completely wrong, which is I thought they were going to do like a grounded approach to the Odyssey. I thought he was going to do away with the mythology. Basically, I thought he was going to do the Batman treatment to it, which was like, I'm doing Batman, but I'm I'm making it more grounded and real.
And I remember like being like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's like Christopher Nolan's thing.
Style, yeah.
Yeah, that fits Nolan's style. But we see we see like Shadow the Minotaur in this.
Yeah, I think we see a Cyclops at one point too, like just kind of a brief shot. And it looked like they were
keeping all the mythology in it.
There were like Army of Dead rising out of the ground or something at one point, I think. So yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've read the Odyssey. So it's hard for me to remember all the details of it. I've seen weird things that have paid homage to it since then, but it's hard to keep track of everything. I know there's a I'm pretty sure there's a Minotaur, like you said. I know there's a Cyclops.
Yeah, I saw
I know there's like sirens, I think, in it. But yeah, he's showing the mythology. Like the mythology is real in this movie. So that's kind of surprised me. This really kind of took me by surprise. This means I guess he's going to use special effects in this movie.
I guess so.
He's going back on his friend.
He's going to be like Christopher Nolan announces he's genetically engineered a Minotaur for the Odyssey.
Well, remember when he was promoting Oppenheimer, he literally said that they set off a nuke to like film it, and it turned out they just did a giant gas explosion, which has been like my huge critique of the movie ever since.
That's been your huge bugbear about that movie.
Yeah, but that's like, I'm happy to see him not stick to that kind of thing, but who knows, maybe he did. Maybe it's all like forced perspective shots in the camera, and it's gonna look really janky when we actually see the full thing, you know? I don't know.
Right, yeah, who knows?
But it looks like that's not the case. It looks like there's some CG and some other stuff going on that to really kind of not just all be in-camera effects, which is, I think, a good thing, especially for something like this. If they are going to take it in that direction, where they're going to show all the mythological stuff. I mean, all that could just also be like dream sequences and shit for all we know. And maybe they are doing a more grounded one, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems like they're going full mythology on this one, which is, I think, probably the best news for this since it got confirmed and it was coming out. But that's the Odyssey, the first trailer for it. And that is it for our On Beat segment. And now we're going to move on to our main and final segment of this episode, our best of 2025 awards or presentation, whatever you want to call it. We don't actually have awards for any of these people. Last year, I had people coming to my house, famous actors going, "Where's my award?" And I had to say, like, it's just a podcast. We don't make it. And then they just walked into my house and like took my stapler. And I'm like, what the fuck? But hopefully that doesn't happen this year. We've got a lot of categories to go through, so let's get started. Our first category is excellence in artistic production. Now, this is going to cover movies, games, and TV shows. All three. So my runner-up for artistic production is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I've beaten this game now. I have a lot of
that game is gorgeous.
Issues with it in certain places, but one thing I cannot dismiss is the art direction on that game is fantastic. The texture work is absolutely stunning. Even on the Switch 1, like I play it on Switch 2. I've never played it on Switch 1, but I've seen footage of it on Switch 1, and even on Switch 1, it looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of it is just the attention to the detail in the texture work.
Retro
really
has some
detailed and
incredible,
painfully and beautiful.
Retro has some incredible artists.
Yeah, definitely. They hired a bunch between the old Prime games and this. They are even between the last Donkey Kong game and this. I remember they had a job listing for texture artists that did hand-painted textures.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like a job listing. And if you look at Metro Prime 4, especially the Fury Green area, you can tell those textures are painted.
If you've seen the recent Famitsu interview with Tanabe, they basically said when this project was moved to Retro did not have the infrastructure of the people in place to make a Metroid game. And so that's why you saw like so many job listings at Retro over the years because they were staffing up to make this game.
Yeah. So I have some quibbles and issues with Metroid Prime 4. I don't dislike the game, but I'm a little disappointed in it. But one thing I will not give it any slack for is its art direction. I think it's fantastic, as you would expect from a Prime game.
Nice.
So tell us your runner-up.
My runner-up is Fantastic Four First Steps. Misgivings with the movie aside, I thought it was gorgeous. I loved the retro futurist art deco, like 60s style to it. I thought it fit the Fantastic Four perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it made the film visually distinct from other superhero films, especially ones that came out this year. So I just thought visually the movie looked good.
Yeah, definitely. For our winners, we picked the same winner.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
And that is
or maybe
Frankenstein.
I should be surprised. Oh yeah, that movie is a visual tour de force.
Guillermo del Toro leads art department forward.
Yes.
A lot of times when I read a thing where it was talking about how when directors have their offices, when they're getting ready to make a movie and they have their office space where they actually work and stuff before they actually start filming, most of the time the office is it's kind of close to the writers and the producers, and that's kind of where, and Guillermo locates his office right in the art department.
Yeah.
And it shows. That's what you kind of expect from Guillermo del Toro.
Oh yeah, that's what you expect from Guillermo del Toro. When you watch a Guillermo del Toro film, you expect beauty because Guillermo del Toro, he's the kind of creative who you could tell he thinks visually.
Yeah.
You could tell when he imagines a scene or a story, he imagines how it looks visually, and it looks very ornate. He does his best to get that vision onto the screen as perfect as possible.
Yeah, I mean this movie had lavish set pieces, gothic castle-like structures, and the ice area with the ship.
Yeah, with the ship. Yeah,
and then just down to the design of Frankenstein's monster.
Itself.
Yeah, it's just lovingly crafted. It's all meant to be beautiful, and even Frankenstein's monster is meant to look horrific and beautiful at the same time, and he does. It's perfect.
He does. Yeah, it's perfect. No notes.
Yeah.
A+.
Yeah.
The best looking movie I watched in 2025, for sure.
Our next category is excellence in technical production. So we're talking about artistic production, we're talking about art department aspects and stuff. When we're talking about technical production, we're talking about brute forcing special effects and huge sets and these kind of things that just, it's going to take a lot of money and just a lot of hours and work and just a lot of pushing through to get it done,
Oh yeah.
So let's start with your runner-up.
My runner-up was Superman. Superman, of course. That's a big technical extravaganza because it's a movie about a guy who can fly. There's actually multiple superheroes in this film. There's multiple
that's
set
a big
pieces.
part of it is there's I don't think there's a shot where there isn't something going on.
Yeah, there is a shot where there isn't something happening. There's multiple set pieces in this movie. There's the giant creature that they have to fight at one point.
There's a fully CG dog that's
fully CG
got so
dog.
much personality.
That's in a lot of the movie. There is a pocket dimension at some point. There's a lot happening in this movie.
They also did something for the first time, and it's not something people would expect, but the whole hologram scene of his birth parents when they were talking, and they were glitches. I watched a thing where they were talking about how they did that, and they said they didn't just want to do typical digital glitches because because that's like very terrestrial, very like Earth-like to have that. So they wanted to like, how would a glitch look if it came from like a much more developed society, and it's not going to be like a pixelation glitch. And so they use these like 3-dimensional glitches for those scenes, and it's like, it's a new thing. That's never like been done before, basically. So that deserves some credit as well. My runner-up is your winner. So it's good that we lined them up this way, and that's Stranger Things. Man, if nothing else, I liked Stranger Things season 5. I know a lot of people have quibbles and issues.
I enjoyed, I'm not going to be, this is a topic for another day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be one of those cynical people. I'm going to be, like, I really enjoyed Stranger Things season 5. But yes, it's flawed, but I don't think, like, the flaws, like, outweigh the overall narrative or, like, the overall, like, I don't know, vibes of it.
Yeah. And from, like, the first shot I saw of this season, the first thing that popped in my mind is like, good lord, this looks expensive.
Yes. It's very clear they spent a lot of money, especially that last episode where like it had, they're basically fighting a kaiju.
Yeah, the Mind Flayer in its full glory.
In its full glory. I saw that and I was like, yep.
They did some really good de-aging with the will scene money. Too.
Yeah. At the beginning, to get the will. Like, it's funny because if I was the Duffer Brothers playing this out, I would film scenes like when they were still kids. So this is for later.
This is just, it's like a ridiculously expensive looking series, and this season in particular, it's like everything that looked amazing in like past seasons on Stranger Things is like utterly dwarfed by what happens in this season. And it's not even just like special effects and stuff. I mean, they cut like a floor out of a building. Like they did like a whole, it's like every single thing in the show in this season looks expensive, It looks like, wow, that cost a lot to do.
Yeah, this was a huge technical production for sure.
Yeah. Huge budget, like massive budget.
So that's what, that's why it was my winner for this technical production. Because I was like, the amount of stuff that they do in this is staggering.
For my pick for technical production, I'm kind of going in a different way, not nearly as expensive, but like absurdly technical in a completely different way. And that is Adolescence, which came out earlier this year. Every episode is shot as if it's a single take. It's not actually a single take, but it's like, it's shot. Actually, I think each episode in this actually is a single take, but they did a lot of trickery. And in particular, the second episode, which is ironically, I think the worst episode of the series by far. I think it's almost like a nonsense episode that from a story perspective, you could just skip and it would be a better experience if you did. But from a technical side, that second episode did insane things when it comes to like trying to do the oneer, like the single shot, single take shot, and like the way they did it in the second one. I mean, there's a scene where a kid jumps out of a window and a guy follows him. The whole camera rig has to go out the window with him. It's crazy. Then the camera gets put onto a drone, lifted up for a giant aerial shot, and it comes back down. This is all in a single take. The whole episode. They have like a drama storyline. They have acting and performances. It takes place in a school where there's like kids running all over the place. They have to keep all of that arranged and wrangled and timed perfectly. And if they don't do it right, they have to go back to the very beginning and start the entire episode over again. It is absurdly technical, especially that episode. I mean, the whole series is done that way. Every single episode is a single shot. But that second episode is just absolutely absurd. I've never seen something do it to that extent before. And there have been movies that have, even some recent ones that are like really complex that have done it in like a single take. And I don't think any of those did anything even close to as technical as what they did in episode 2 of Adolescence. I mean, not even like 1917, which was like a war movie that was shot that way. But yeah, I think absolutely stunning. Adolescence, that was an early movie from this year though, so I think a lot of people out of their minds, slipped from their minds on that one.
Right.
But yeah, very technical one. Our next award is for Best Performance. I'll start with my runner-up, which is Jacob Elordi as the creature in Frankenstein. I haven't seen a lot of Jacob Elordi's stuff. I've seen him in some things, but from what I've seen, this is like a career-defining role already in his young life. This
was a fantastic performance. It was nuanced, like he had to play, it's a complicated character because he has to play somebody who's like innocent,
but angry,
full of like this rage at the same time, but not somebody who's evil or genuinely wants to hurt people and cause chaos, but like he's just angry.
Yeah, he's angry, he's innocent, he's also just terribly sad.
Yeah.
And all of that comes through, and it's like this performance pulls through. I think it is, outside of the art direction, I think it is the strongest part of the movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Your runner-up?
My runner-up was Rhea Seehorn as Carol in Pluribus. I think Carol is like a really fun character.
She's a grump.
Yeah, she's a grump, a misanthrope. She doesn't want anything to do with the outside world, pretty much. She sees her, like, fans as, like, kind of idiots. She's this kind of person, and she's, like, thrust into this unusual situation and where she has to step up and be a hero, which she does. I think it's really interesting. I think the way Rhea Seehorn, like, portrays that is incredible. You know, she captures, like, all the nuance of that character, like, perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, Vince Gilligan wrote this for her.
Yeah.
Because of how much he liked her in Better Call Saul.
Yes.
And we knew from Better Call Saul that Rhea Seehorn was a talent.
And apparently, like, she's finally getting her flowers for this, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that. Because, like, the way, like, Better Call Saul, she was snubbed for that. Bob Odenkirk was snubbed for that. That whole show was snubbed for some freaking reason.
I think it's just because it's so close to Breaking Bad, but Breaking Bad was, like, more fun. Like, it had more, like, action-y type stuff happening in it, whereas Better Call Saul was such a slow burn.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of put people off of it. It just made it, like, it doesn't stand out as much as, like, a giant machine gun scene, or, you know what I mean? A train robbery. It's like those kind of things, like, stick in your mind, whereas, like, a slow dissect, like, there's a brilliant moment in Better Call Saul where Jimmy, like, kind of proves that his brother's condition is bullshit. It's absolutely brilliant, but it's not the kind of thing that, like, sticks with you forever, like the train robbery scene in Breaking Bad does, you know?
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
My winner is Jesse Plemons as, speaking of the train robbery scene in Breaking Bad, Jesse Plemons.
It's like Jesse Plemons, yeah.
as Teddy Gatz in Begonia.
This I did not see, so you're going to have to tell me about this.
Begonia is a very weird movie. I don't really want to go into it fully. I think it's best to just experience it if you watch it. It's very weird. Some people are not going to like it. But one thing you have to give absolute credit to is Jesse Plemons is playing this guy he's smart, but he's like very like conspiracy theory. He's very grungy and dirty looking, and he's a conspiracy theorist. And he thinks that this woman who's in this town is like the CEO of this company. He thinks she's an alien, and he's sure of it, and he plans to abduct her. This is all in the trailer, so I'm not like revealing anything surprising or whatever. But he is just fucking out of his mind as a conspiracy theorist, and he's trying to keep it together, and he's trying to kind of keep his cohort in line with him, and it's just a fantastic performance. And Jesse Plemons is one of those actors that just, every time he pops up in something, you know you're in for a treat.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your winner.
Okay, so my winner, this was difficult because we're spoiled for choice this year for best performance. I mean, you just like name two that I see, like Jacob Elordi, of course. Rhea Seehorn could have easily taken this. There are more people that I could have put on this, but I chose for this personally, I chose John Cena in Peacemaker season 2 because I thought like this was an incredible performance, and what really brought to surface for me was the scene at the end of season 2 where all his friends are like attacking his brother, and he's having this traumatic.
That's the penultimate episode, I think. Of the season.
And like he's having like all this like pent up trauma bubbling to the surface. And I thought like that was an incredible like moment, incredible performance improved. John Cena, like throughout the whole thing, he's great. He's great in the entire season. I just want to say, but like that was like a step above, and like it really cemented to me like John Cena is like a world class performer.
Yeah, he's been struggling to kind of really show that, you know, like
he
does have these little moments. I mean, even in like season 1 of Peacemaker, he had like these moments where it's like, oh, there's more to this guy than we give him credit for. And in season 2, he gets like a really, that moment in particular you're talking about, it's such a cathartic moment. And he just kind of screams out like, stop. And you can just feel all the desperation in his voice when he does it.
Yeah.
it's an incredibly strong moment. Yeah, I think Cena deserves a lot more credit than he gets.
Absolutely, I agree. But yeah,
I think when you talk about like best wrestler turned actors, there's only two names that really come to mind, and neither is The Rock.
Neither is The Rock. Yeah, John Cena, Dave Bautista. Both, funny enough, like
both James Gunn.
James Gunn, like zeroed in on both of them. Like, which is like, but yeah, no, like this was for me, like this was the one that was like the hardest for me to choose. This was down to the wire actually. For this category, because like again, we had so many to choose from this year. It was insane.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, insane is the right word. We were spoiled for choice on this category. Our next one is not for a singular performance, but for a cast as a whole. And let's start with your runner-up.
My runner-up was the Fantastic Four for Steps.
Excellent cast.
Excellent cast.
Yeah,
excellent
Peter Pascal leading the way, and then just everybody else.
Yeah, Vanessa
got my boy
Kirby,
Eddie Munson.
Eddie Munson, yeah, like he is an incredible actor too. They got a great cast of actors in this. They all work well off of each other.
Julia Garner too. Not one of the main four, but she's in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a movie I want to love because it looks great. It's got this great cast. They work so well off of each other. The way that they just like interact with each other is great. My favorite scenes of this film are just scenes like dialogue scenes, like where they're just like talking to each other.
Yeah, it's the interactions of those characters. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like I thought like, oh yeah, that's great. So yeah, that's my pick.
My runner-up is Last Samurai Standing, which was like a last-minute edition, and it's on here a few times. It's gonna pop up again. This is something that I don't think anybody's talking about. We watched the trailer and we're like, oh,
nobody's talking about it.
And then it went on the back burner, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it. And then I decided every year when this comes up, when we're getting ready to do our best of the year awards, I feel this like sudden twinge of panic of like, oh, there's so much I haven't watched. I need to watch stuff. And one of the ones I picked to like watch last minute was Last Samurai Standing, and I am so glad I did because it absolutely blew me away in multiple ways. And one of the ways is that this has just a really good cast of characters, and it's not like, these aren't like really strong singular performances, but it's very like, you have these very larger than life characters. You know what I mean? Like you have these characters and they're brought to life in this way where it's like, oh, this guy is like genuinely intimidating, and this guy is like really creepy, you know, and this guy is like, and they're just, they stick with you. Like it's just so well done, including the lead of the series is just like, he's a young Sonata to me. He's like a young Hiroyuki Sanada, and he just pulls like the same kind of performance. It just feels like he's channeling him, and it's great. This is a standout. It's going to show up in some other categories for me as well. This is something that, like I said, nobody's talking about. You need to check this out. It's on Netflix. It's only, I believe, 6 episodes. It's already got a second season coming. It is absolutely fantastic.
Nice. I'll have to check it out then.
Tell us about your winner.
Okay, so my winner for Best Cast is Thunderbolts. And, I mean, come on. They were so good.
Yeah.
I mean, you have David Harbour, you have Sebastian Stan, you have Florence Pugh.
Wyatt Russell.
And they did great.
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus, too, as a villain.
Yes. And, Lewis Pullman. But, like, this is a movie that obviously, like, it lives and dies by its cast. You know, more so than other movies, because if the Thunderbolts as a group did not work, the movie doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the movie is my second favorite superhero movie of the year, behind Superman. And it's a close behind Superman. Cause like, I really
this was not one we expected to be in that conversation.
Oh yeah, no. I expected it to be Fantastic Four, and it was this. So, yeah, exactly. So yeah, like the way that they portrayed like this group of like people who are basically forced together, but like they're all damaged, they're all broken in their own ways, and the way they navigate that was great. I don't know, like it's like easy best cast in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, my winner is the King of the Hill reboot, and it's just because it feels like it just picks up right where it left off. It just feels like nothing was lost, and that's like a great thing. And King of the Hill already had these really iconic, interesting characters that everybody knows. Everybody knows Peggy and her isms, you know, everybody knows Hank and, you know, propane and propane accessories, and everybody knows Boomhauer and his indecipherable dialogue. It's like we know and love all these characters already, and it came back and it was perfect. And it's interesting because a lot of the cast, like, sadly has passed between, like, the shows. Some of them passed during the making of the show, including the actor who plays Dale. And he was taken over by another cast member who'd already been working on King of the Hill. The actor who played Cotton in King of the Hill takes over for Dale. And it's just like, it just doesn't lose a beat. It just keeps going on. And I really like that they didn't just cast some other actor that can do a Dale voice, that they cast somebody who knew him. And who is, and there's a feeling of like reverence and respect in his portrayal because it's somebody he knows personally. And I think a lot of that comes through. I think King of the Hill, it feels like everybody involved in that really appreciates the chance to come back in this. Like nobody's doing this for a paycheck. And I think that that's like a rarity where just like there's like nobody who's in it for the paycheck. Like they're all in it to do it. And I think they just did a great job.
Yeah.
So our next category is Best Story. Again, this covers games, movies, TV. There are some categories that are specific, but you know, story could cover anything. Let's start with my runner-up, which is Adolescence. Like I said, Adolescence, great show. I think the technical achievement is the best thing about the show, but on top of it, it also had great performances. That was another one I was thinking of when it came to both cast and performance. That kid, for example, so deranged. Yeah. I think it's that story is so haunting and it's so like of its time right now of what's happening in there, and that just made it like a killer for me.
Well, my runner-up was Weapons. I thought Weapons was really interesting. I know like a lot of people were disappointed in it, but the way it's not so much the story itself, but it's the way the story is presented, which was unique. You know, it's kind of like presented as this mystery box, and you're jumping between these different characters, these different protagonists, and seeing pieces of the story through different characters.
Yeah, a lot of people have compared it to like both Pulp Fiction and what's the movie with Tom Cruise, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie, Magnolia. A lot of people compare it to like those movies. They say it's like a horror Magnolia, you know, or a horror Pulp Fiction or something. And I think that's true. Like it does. It's like an interesting way that it all fits together, and because of the way it fits together like that, you get these moments where it's kind of frustrating because you don't know certain things, but that's needed to create the right amount of tension. And when the catharsis comes, it feels right, you know, because of the way it all fits together.
When the answers do come, you know, like, and it's kind of bonkers too, the way it does it, because when you start getting the answers to what's going on, like it switches to another character's perspective, and then we see what happens to that character, and that's when they reveal it.
Yeah, definitely. Zach Krieger is killing it. His career is
he's killing it. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
My winner is Pluribus, and it's just such an interesting story, and I don't know yet. I mean, we're going to do an episode about this later, but I don't know how I feel about the show as a whole, but it's weird because I feel like every time I start going like, I like this show, but I don't think it can really hold itself together. And then it does things that I just don't expect, or that like I just didn't think they would be able to do. And it comes together in this way that kind of just drops my jaw. And I go like, oh, okay, yeah, this is really good. Like it's like a weird show because the premise makes me think it can't work, and it just keeps working. And I don't quite understand how it keeps working, but it does. That's Pluribus.
Yeah.
We'll get into that more when we talk about the actual show in an episode.
I can't wait. Yeah, because like it's got layers to it that like it manages to keep you interested.
Yeah.
Like even like you said, like even though like there shouldn't be anything interesting there, but there is.
Yeah. There's a lot. Tell us about your winner.
My winner was Sinners. Sinners is like a real fun vampire story. Well, it's not like your traditional straightforward vampire thing because it draws upon the mythology of Black Southern culture, Black Southern music, and all that to really weave its tale. It's really effective at doing that.
Yeah, definitely. This is like on the top of the list for a lot of people for like movie of the year too.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was an incredible film. I highly enjoyed it.
It was on the short list for a lot of categories, including for performance for Michael B. Jordan for his dual performance.
Oh yeah, Michael B. Jordan playing those twin brothers. I mean, Haley Steinfeld was so good in this. Yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'd find some place for it.
Yeah. So our next category is best music. Let's start with your runner-up.
My runner-up was Stranger Things.
All that synthwave love and
oh, that synthwave love, yeah. Purple Rain. I didn't like it as much as like last season. I mean, like
season 4 like really kind of took it to new levels.
Yeah, season 4 had the bangers with like Running Up the Hill and like obviously Eddie Munson and Master of Puppets. Oh man, that got me.
It took like, both of those songs that had been out for like 40 years or something and put them on the top of the Billboard charts again.
It was crazy like seeing people like Master of Puppets of all things like charting, you know?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was like, what? They had some decent needle drops in here. Nothing as important to me this season, but I thought they had some good needle drops, so I was like, I'll give best music, sure.
And the score is good too, that like synthwave score.
Oh yeah. I mean, the theme song is always a banger.
My runner-up is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I'm not like a Disney musical guy, but man, Nintendo made a Disney musical.
Yeah, they did they? Yeah. Pauline is a Disney princess in this.
Yeah, oh totally. And it's great. It works. It's a good counterpoint to all the destruction and mayhem in there. It's like this sweet, overly kind of sentimental kind of vibe, like just contrast with all the destruction, and it just works. But yeah, I think they did such a good job on the music, and it's not just the musical number bits and stuff. Like, God, all the like transformation songs are great too, but it's not even just that. It's just, they pay such like reverence and respect to past Donkey Kong games while also doing their own thing. Like, there's new music that's so fitting and so works, and it's so like such a good score, but they managed to pair that new music, which is entirely its own thing, with like stuff from Donkey Kong Country and stuff from like the original Donkey Kong games. And it's just like they take the entire library of music connected to this long running franchise of like what, almost 50 years or something for this franchise. And
no, Donkey Kong. Oh, I mean,
about 45, right?
43. It came out in 81.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's before we know it, it's going to be celebrating its 50th. You know,
don't say that. Don't say that.
It's older than the NES. You know,
it's not a good thing to say.
But man, they draw from this entire pool of music and they just do it like brilliantly. They remake songs, like I said, from the classic games, including the Donkey Kong Country games, and remake them beautifully. They make brand new songs that are like epic and soaring, and then they like have these Disney musical moments that are just complete bangers, you know? Like, they just work. They're great. I mean, if they didn't work, you would get so sick of hearing, you know, zebra, zebra, but it does work, so you don't care. Like, it just goes with what you're doing, and it's so fun.
Oh yeah, it's catchy. So yeah. It's a joy to listen to.
Tell us your winner.
My winner is Peacemaker Season 2. Peacemaker, obviously, it's a James Gunn joint, and James Gunn, like,
King of Needle Drops.
Yeah, King of Needle Drops. He knows music. He knows music, and like, this has got some great tunes. It's got some great tracks, especially the opening track, the title track, which, like, I know people were mixed on online, but I don't know, like, it was just as much as Season 1's.
Yeah,
like,
and it's become like a trend. Like, they're like using the Peacemaker Season 2 opening pairing with like any cold open on any TV show or something.
That became a meme.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh Lord is like, that's a good song. That's a good song. I don't know, like, I really enjoyed it. So I thought, yeah.
Yeah. My winner is Sinners, and this goes along with what you were talking about with the story and how the story goes into like music and black culture, and the music, it's not just in the story, it's the music itself, you know, it's in there.
Oh yeah.
And it's, I think it's a movie about music.
That was another top choice too.
Yeah. And it's a movie that's really about music is what it's about, you know, and it's so good. And
about the blues.
Yeah. I mean, they found this guy, man, the lead of the movie. They found this guy who's just like absurdly talented. And yeah, I mean, the way they bring together the blues, and even when they had like the performance of like the vampires doing like bluegrass, like folksy music, and it's like, even that's like good, you know? It's like, it's all about music. It's about cultural appropriation. It's about like all of this. And so every time music comes up, it isn't just like, oh wow, this is a banger or something. It's like, oh wow, this like thematically fits into what's going on in the story and the movie, and like everything that's happening is tied to it. It's like, really, it's a movie celebrating that era of music and that aspect of black culture. So really appreciate that. Our next category is video game specific, and let's start with my runner-up. So my runner-up for best gameplay loop or hook in a video game is Smash Smash and Smash More in Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's a game all about smashing.
Do you want to, like, go ahead and just, like, announce my winner? Because, like, it's the same thing. We should just talk about it at once.
Yeah.
We should, instead of just talking about it twice. Yeah, because I put punch, but it's the same thing. It's basically...
punch and smash. Yeah.
Punch and smash, yeah, because it's basically, you're punching the environment and smashing it to bits, and it's the most satisfying thing in the world. And the way, like, Donkey Kong Bonanza does it, you would think it would get old, but never gets old in this game.
Yeah. I'm gonna just transition right here into my winner because it's the same game. It's Donkey Kong Bonanza. But this is an ability you get later on, and I said, hoover everything with the elephant in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Oh my god. The second I got that ability, I just went back to all the old levels and just started hoovering the entire fucking levels.
Oh yeah.
It is like, so rewarding. It is so satisfying.
It makes it like
so much gold, it's absurd.
It makes things like so much faster, just like punching it.
And then when you finish, you just look around and you're like, holy shit, like the whole fucking level's gone.
The level's gone. You hoovered it all up.
Yeah. Oh god, it's such a satisfying thing. What they did with like the voxel technology in that game is just absurd. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, the game is like so amazing.
So we're kind of in a weird place. Tell us your runner-up after we've covered
the winner. Yeah. So that was the winner, but my runner-up was the Expedition 33 and the turn-based battles, but like they're active. So what I mean about that, it's like, it's a turn-based RPG setup where your party like attacks and the enemy attacks, but it's active because during your enemy's turn, you can parry or dodge their attacks. Mm-hmm. And that becomes like key to the combat because for like pretty much all the fights, success relies on you being able to successfully dodge or parry. Parrying is better than dodging because if you manage to parry, you do extra damage to the enemy than just dodging. But it's really interesting. It keeps you engaged, so like,
it's kind of like the Super Mario RPG or Paper Mario effect of like keeping you like timing and stuff.
Yeah, it's similar to that. Right.
Yeah. It's something I wish more games would do. I know this game is also, apparently, from what I've read, the maker of this game, or the director of this game, was also heavily inspired by one of my favorite games or franchises, the Shadow Hearts series, which also does something kind of like a rhythm-based kind of thing, where there's like a dial that spins around and you have to hit certain things in specific strike zones, and it's like very like timing specific. Expedition 33 winning everything.
Yeah, winning everything.
But that's it for our gameplay loop category, and now we're going to move on to best protagonist. So this isn't necessarily performance, this is like protagonist. So a lot of it is not just the performance, but the writing, the character, what they represent. Like, it's the whole package of what makes this protagonist and how they're interesting or how it works in the series or movie or game that they're in. And we're going to start up with my runner-up this time, which is Atami Korpi as portrayed by Jorma Tomila in Sisu Road to Revenge. So this is the second Sisu movie, but this one goes much more like personal. He has no dialogue in the entire movie.
Oh wow.
It's not a silent movie. People talk. He doesn't. He's silent through the entire thing. He's Link. He's Samus,
It's like, that Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff movie that Nick Cage did where like he's silent through the entire movie.
But this guy, he's silent. He's not mute. Like, they don't ever say anything about him being mute. He's just so stoic and silent, and he does everything with looks. And there's points where he's so angry, he's like shaking, or he's so like kind of desperate that it's just like there's so much in his body language and his performance. This is an actor. He's like, I think from Finland or something, and he's big in his home country, but I don't think I've seen him in anything besides the Sisu movies. But he is a top performer. He's amazing, and in particular in this role, and this is like a really good action movie, like a John Wick-like. It's like John Wick fighting in World War II era Eastern Europe kind of thing, and he's quiet, and he's stoic, and he's just driven, and it's that kind of same feeling of when you're watching a John Wick movie or something, and you just see how driven that character is, and how just relentless they are about reaching their goal and what they need to do and what they need to accomplish, and how just nothing stops them at all. And he's just like that kind of character, but played very differently. He never, like I said, he doesn't have any dialogue in the entire movie, and it's just all in the stoic body language and the way he presents himself. It's it's just a really surprising performance to me. Tell us about your runner-up.
So my runner-up for this category is Carol Sturka, as portrayed by Rhea Seehorn in Pluribus. Again, she's a fantastic protagonist,
Yeah, she's so hard to love, but once you do, you just, eat her up completely.
You just adore her, Oh, yeah.
Like I said, she's such a grump. She's such a misanthrope. She's you grow to love her. You grow to understand her, and then you love her.
Yeah, the way she, rises to the occasion. There's that scene early in the season where she meets the other survivors, and she's the only one, wanting to do something, looking for a solution,
When she asks the little boy, what he would do for, a speculum exam, like a gynecological exam and stuff. And the mother's, freaking out, but she's proving her point,
Right,
and she's so frustrated by the fact that, everybody seems to be just either living their best life like they won the lottery, like that one guy who, moves to Vegas and shit, or they're just, in complete denial about what's happening. And
yeah, exactly.
She's just what the fuck? You need to fucking open your eyes. And as it goes on, she starts to question whether she should close her eyes. It's it's a very interesting performance.
She has a very interesting character journey in this season. I'm looking forward to more seasons of Pluribus for sure, just to watch her.
This time, once again, we picked the same winners. It's Superman Clark Kent as portrayed by David Cornsweet in Superman. This isn't about his performance per se, although it's a fine performance. It's a good performance.
It's a fine performance.
It's about they finally nailed Superman.
They finally nailed Superman. James Gunn proved that he understands Superman, and I picked Superman because I think he is the person that we need for the modern era, for this era of cynicism, and
I love the line of maybe kindness is punk rock, or maybe that's punk rock when he's talking about being kind,
Yeah, exactly. I love that line. I thought this is the hero we need for this moment.
Yeah, and we need Superman.
Yeah, this is the protagonist of 2025 to me.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's so much more than the performance. It's so much more than the movie. It's we just needed this. And for the, first time, I mean, you could say since Christopher Reeves, but I think even more so than the Christopher Reeves version of Superman, they just nailed Superman.
Yes, they got it. Perfect. No notes.
So it's hard to have a protagonist without an antagonist. And that leads us into our next category. You start first. Tell us your runner-up.
My runner-up was Lex Luthor, as portrayed by Nicholas Hoult in Superman. Not to gush, but Nicholas Hoult is a great actor, and he plays a mean Lex Luthor, a real mean, spiteful bastard in this movie.
With Superman, I think this is the first time they've gotten Lex Luthor just right. I think the closest was Smallville.
Yeah, the closest is Smallville, yeah. Because Lex Luthor in the media is traditionally portrayed as he's this corrupt businessman or something. And it's no, that's not exactly the character.
Yeah.
The character is a lot deeper than that.
Yeah. He's so just angry, and it's just, he's just the polar opposite of Superman's character, and you need that antagonist, protagonist contrast to really make the subject matter work. And Nicholas Hoult does a fantastic job, but it's not just the performance, it's how he fits into the story, it's the writing, it's who he is as a character, and it just works.
Yes.
My runner-up for best antagonist is Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, as portrayed by Sean Penn in One Battle After Another. One Battle After Another is another movie that's on a short list for almost everything for best movie of the year, and Sean Penn's character is a big part of that. He is just a horrible, horrible person, but he's got layers to him as well. He's just got this weird desperation and this weird kind of naivete to him as well. And it just makes his entire journey really interesting. There's so many idiosyncrasies to the performance itself, but also just where the story goes with his character and how it all frames around him and his activities. It's a weird movie. There's a lot of stuff that I'm I don't know. Some parts of the movie are hyper realistic. Some parts are kind of funny. Some parts are just kind of off and weird. But it all kind of works when you just kind of accept it and take it in. And he's a big part of what drives the movie forward. He's literally the driving force of the movie.
Nice.
So, again, we got the same winner. I'll let you do this one.
Yep, was shocked. I mean, I did not look at your picks when doing my picks, so, like, this is completely coincidence that we got the same protagonist, the same antagonist. But yeah, like, I chose Aunt Gladys, as portrayed by Amy Madigan in Weapons. I thought this character was pure evil, in, like, the worst way, you know, and she gets, like, her brutally violent comeuppance at the end of the film. It's so cathartic because of, like, just how evil this woman was.
Yeah, she's so evil and she's so weird about it too.
Yes.
And
yes, she's such an odd woman too. Like, she leaves
she's
an
so out of
impression on
touch
you,
with what
like,
she's doing, and
yeah,
it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, she leaves a lasting impression for sure as a villain.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're going to move on to best platform of the year. This could be a game console, it could be a service, it could be a channel. This could be ABC, it could be Netflix, it could be a PlayStation 5, it could be anything that acts as a platform for your content. And we're going to start with my runner-up, which is the Switch 2. I think it's still early for the Switch 2. I think I have so much hope. I think 2026 I don't see how anything's gonna beat the Switch 2 for my award for this year.
Switch 2 has gotten a lot of slack from people for being, like, underwhelming. I don't share that opinion. I thought the Switch 2 had a solid first year. There are bumps in the road. There are hiccups, of course, and I do think, like, I'm biased because I do like Nintendo games. I think if you don't particularly like first-party Nintendo games, then yeah, fair. Totally fair. I get it. But for me, like, I thought Mario Kart World was a great time. Is it the best Mario Kart game ever? No. I still had a lot of fun with it. You know, then Donkey Kong Bonanza came out, and that's a Game of the Year contender. Like, already the second month, and it's got Game of the Year contender. Then it's supplemented by, like, a lot of other, like, you know, more minor, but still fun experiences. You got Hyrule Warriors, you got new Kirby games. Yeah, you got, like, Metroid Prime 4 is, you know, as uneven as that game is. You know, I'm still going through it, but I'm enjoying it. Pokemon Legends came out, and that's pretty damn good. You know, that's pretty decent. I don't know, man. I'm having fun with my Switch 2.
I think what makes it work is that for the first time, Nintendo did more than just, like, bog standard backwards compatibility. We have these Nintendo Switch 2 editions, we have these upgrade patches, and then we have games that aren't updated at all, and then just run better, just by default. Like, so you have games that have these uneven frame rates on Switch, and now you play them without any patch or anything, and they're just running at 60.
You don't forget that. You still have access to the entire Switch 1 library on here, too.
And it runs better, like a lot better.
A lot of the games run better, too, on here. So, could it use more games? Of course, but, like, that's true for, like, all the systems this gen, and also more games are coming. They're going to come.
I think when it comes to original games, the first year is not even really over yet for the Switch 1.
Yeah.
But the first year, or for the Switch 2, I mean, the first year is not as good as the Switch 1's first year, I don't think.
Right.
Like, I think that had a better assortment of games, especially on the first party level and stuff. But I think it was still fantastic. But man, like, I just know already that when we're doing this next year, Switch 2 is going to be in my winner category because just everything I'm looking at for 2026 already. And it's so early, and knowing Nintendo and the way they hold things to their chest until, like, the Nintendo Direct start occurring throughout the year, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is like an insane year for a Nintendo system coming up. And it's all on the basis of what happened last year, which was really strong. But it didn't take my number one, but it's right up there.
Yeah, it's my number one.
Tell us about your runner-up, though.
My runner-up was HBO Max. I think it's pretty obvious. Most of the stuff I gave awards to in this were streaming on HBO Max. Warner Brothers had a great year content-wise. You know, Warner Brothers is a studio that put out Superman, is a studio that put out Sinners, is a studio that put out Weapons and Peacemaker and all this. You know, like, content-wise, they killed it this year. And all that stuff is on HBO Max. It makes it easy to recommend, you know, that service to people when it's got, like, all that great stuff there. So, I mean, that was an easy choice for me.
For my winner, I chose Apple TV Plus. I am not a fan of Apple. I resisted getting Apple TV Plus for the longest time.
I was shocked. I'm shocked.
Pluribus came up and I had to get. This is kind of a cheat in a way.
You're kind of like groaning about like having to sign up for it.
It's kind of a cheat in a way because it's not just what's new on there. this year for me. It's like being opened up to this entire catalog of stuff that I was not watching, and it's like, oh god, there's just so fucking much. And it's all like super high concept and interesting, and, you know, it's just, I'm kind of appreciating what the platform is doing more than anything else. So yeah, that took my winner. I needed to give that credit, especially considering I'm just not a fan of Apple, and I need to kind of eat crow on this one and, you know, just admit they done good. They done good with their streaming service. And as you already mentioned, your winner was Switch 2, which was my runner-up. For all the reasons we already mentioned. Our next category is Best Comedy. Again, this could be a game, this could be a movie, this could be a TV show. Let's start with your runner-up.
Yep, I mean, I realized I did watch a lot of comedy this year. My fallback was always What We Do in the Shadows, and that ended in 2024. Right? So I did have that, but then I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I did watch Murderbot. That was in our Apple TV Plus show, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Murderbot is a comedy that I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, it was super high concepts.
Yeah, super high concept. Alexander Skarsgård, like, it really, like, gets made by, like, his character's internal monologue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, his character's internal thoughts throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Are, like, the funniest, like, parts of it, but it's also got, like, great comic moments and performances by people like David Dastmalchian.
Oh, and they'd have, like, some emotional moment, and he'd just be, like, deadpan staring at him, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really well-done comedy.
Mm-hmm. My runner-up was kind of a last-minute watch. Again, like I mentioned, whenever this comes to, like, the end of the year, I start going like, oh, what are all the things I didn't get to see? And one of those was Friendship, which is the new movie with Paul Rudd and the guy from I Think You Should Leave, who's been on a roll. He also had a TV show that I wasn't able to get to last year called The Chair Company, which I've heard great things about as well, but I just wasn't able to get to it. It's that awkward kind of comedy that you would get in like a sketch of I Think You Should Leave, but it's stretched out over like a whole fucking movie. And it just goes into some really weird places, and sometimes it's serious and dramatic, and then something happens and it's just like, what the fuck? And it's just hilarious. It's just that very specific brand that guy is doing, you know, that he was started out in SNL, and then he did I Think You Should Leave, and he did Friendship, and now he's got The Chair Company, and he's got like this very, very specific style that's to him. Yeah, and I think Friendship is the best thing of that I've seen so far.
Nice.
Paul Rudd is also just excellent. A great like foil to the other character. Really makes it like work in a great way. So yeah, that's my runner-up. Tell us about your winner.
My winner was Novocaine.
Great comedic action movie.
Just a great comedic action.
And Jack
movie.
Quaid's killing it this year, man.
Yeah, Jack Quaid he's killing it this year. He was also a Companion, which I did not give an award. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that movie. But yeah, he was in this in Companion.
He's also in Heads of State.
That's right. He had a small part in that too, yeah.
It's one of the best parts of the thing.
One of the best parts of the thing. Heads of State, that's another one I could have nominated for this, actually, now that I think about it, but too late. I thought this was like a really fun comedic take on like the John Wick genre, you know? Kind of like a subversion of that, where instead of you got this unstoppable badass, you got like this goofy guy who's taking these people down by accident.
He can't feel pain, and it kind of acts as both like a superpower and also like a really fucked up and sad situation at the same time.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And it's exactly. A contrast that makes it funny.
So it creates some funny moments in the movie for sure.
Yeah. My winner this year is South Park. I always love South Park. Even when they have an off season, South Park is still fucking great. They'll still end up doing like some total like meme creating lines in an episode, even when they're on a bad season. They'll like do shit that just becomes immortalized in memes forever, even in a bad season. This season is by far not a bad season. This is like one of the best seasons of South Park. They are on fire. They came to the season with a vengeance. Technically, it's 2 seasons because they literally stopped the current season because they were about to do episode 6, and they didn't want to do an episode 6 and an episode 7 because of a certain trend that they covered in the show. So they literally created a second other season that started immediately the next week, just so they could avoid the numbering structure. I think that in itself is kind of hilarious in a meta way, but man, they just went hard this season. Like, they just did not have any mercy at all, and it was great. It was desperately needed. You need somebody that's got that kind of social commentary style of humor to really just stand up and say, you know what? I'm not fucking around anymore. I'm just going to put everything on the table. And that's what South Park did this year. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're moving on to Best Drama, and we'll start with my runner-up, which was Adolescence. I mean, again,
that was fantastic drama.
Yeah, man, what a fucked up story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Real messed up story. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like the destruction of a family is the angle that we see it from, but there's so much more going on, but we see it very specifically from the angle of this family that's just utterly destroyed.
Yes.
And it is hard to watch at times. But that is my pick. Tell us about your runner-up, which is also my winner, but I'm going to let you read this one.
My runner-up was Pluribus. Again, Pluribus is so good. There are layers to it. I'm not going to say too much about it. We're going to talk about this in a later podcast, so I don't want to spoil anything. But it's again, we've talked about this throughout the podcast, so various reasons, it's my runner-up.
Yeah, for same reasons, it's my winner. It's just like I mentioned already before, it'll do things and you're just like, man, there's not a lot to mine there. Why are they going in this direction with this? Like, the whole show is based on this idea. What are you going to mine from it? And then they just do. It's like, how did they do that? Like, how were they able to mine that, you know?
Right.
And they do. Exactly. And it just goes to Vince Gilligan.
A classic Vince Gilligan thing of like, you're watching, it's like, oh, okay, like, what are they going to do now with that? That doesn't, and he finds a way. He finds a way through it.
I mean, I talked before about how there's a famous story where he talks about the machine gun scene in Breaking Bad in the car trunk, and how he literally did that to specifically write him in his writer's room into a corner.
Yeah.
Like, he did that on purpose without any idea of where that would be used, just to write himself into a corner, because he realized that the best drama in the show came from them writing themselves out of a corner. Like, really struggling and working to write themselves out of a corner. That's where the best moments of that series came from. And I think this is probably what's happening again here.
What's hilarious is like when you compare it to like things like, let's just say Stranger Things, where like the Duffer Brothers are kind of like, we had the last scene of the show like planned out and everything. It's like, we had this planned out, and then you ask Vince Gilligan about Breaking Bad, and he goes,
flying by the seat of his pants.
Yeah, he's like, we're making shit up as we went along. You know,
There's a great tradition of that, of like, before we had books, when stories were just told, and people would tell stories and they would watch their audience's reaction and adapt and adjust, and they would realize how things were working and adjust as they went. And like, a true master storyteller could do that in a way where you have no idea that that's what they're doing unless they tell you. Vince Gilligan has told us, you know?
Vince Gilligan has told us, but like, if you watch Breaking Bad, you know, like, it's invisible. You think Mike showing up in season 2 is the plan. That's not the plan. That just happened because of circumstances beyond everybody's control, but then it led to like one of the best characters in the Breaking Bad universe. It's crazy.
They just made it work.
Yeah, they just made it work, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about your winner for Best Drama.
My winner for Best Drama was Sinners. Again, just a fantastic movie. You know, fantastic acting, great story about, you know, the struggle against, you know, appropriation and like this demonic force that, basically wants to take over.
Mm-hmm.
Just great.
It's a movie that you can dissect. There's like a lot going on. There's a lot of like metaphors. There's a lot of like just stuff going on that you can just like read into and dissect and kind of lay out. And it's complex.
It's got layers.
Yeah.
It's got layers for sure. So that was like my best drama of the year.
Next category is Best Action. Let's start with your runner-up.
My runner-up was Thunderbolts. Again, I just thought Thunderbolts was like a fun time. Had a lot of great action sequences in it. Not much more to say about that, but yeah.
My runner-up was Sisu Road to Revenge. Again, it's like a John Wick-like, but it's set in Eastern Europe, and everything is at this blisteringly high shutter speed, which means when there's rain or blood, you can see every individual drop. Nothing's like blurred. Everything's in like crystal sharp focus. It's kind of like the first season of American Gods also did that. That was like a Brian Fuller thing where he referred to it, I believe, as like hyper-realism. And it's the idea of like, it's so realistic. It's almost like when you watch Ren and Stimpy and they do like those insanely detailed close-ups where it's like really just gross, but they just do this like overly detailed close-up shots and stuff. It's like that through the whole fucking movie, but it's not necessarily like gross. It's just gritty and grimy, and like you can see every texture because the shutter speed is cranked up so high that just there's no motion blur. Everything's like solid frames. So you can see every detail detail of it in the action, and it just really works. It's hyper stylized and just really, really sells the action in a great way. So Sisu Road to Revenge is my runners up. Tell us about your winner.
My winner for best action was Superman. Superman has some great action sequences. One of my favorite is the sequence with Mr. Terrific and his T-balls.
Yeah, that was great.
The way he's like just bouncing people around with those.
Great needle drop moment too. And
a great needle drop moment too. Oh yeah, that was definitely a crowd pleaser moment in that film.
You also had some like really cool Superman things, like when he was like spinning around to get the people off of him and was like shooting his lasers while he was spinning and stuff.
Yes.
Just very cool, like comic book shots, you know?
Yeah, just very awesome comic book shots. Very satisfying, fun action
I'm
movie.
hang around, I'm doing important things.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely good action in that. My winner, this is where I really want to lay into. I mentioned Last Samurai Standing. I said it'd be coming up again. The action in this is absurd. It is so fucking good. And I had no idea. Like from the trailers, it looked good, but I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like TV show good. And then I watched it, I'm like, God, this is like the best sword fights I've ever seen in anything. Like I watch a lot of anime. I haven't seen anything this good in anything else, like ever. This is like the best sword fights I've ever seen in any medium. It's absolutely insane. There is a decapitation scene that happens towards the end of episode 2 that is probably the coolest decapitation I've ever seen. Again, in anything. And then there's a fight scene at the very beginning of episode 5 that is just blisteringly fast and precise. You watch it and you're like, how the fuck did they do this? How did they get 2 performers to be able to pull this off without just everybody on set dying? Like, it just makes no sense. It's so detailed and so quick, and there's so many circumstances that are around them in the scene. They're breaking swords, like, left and right. Like, as they're fighting, their swords are breaking and they're grabbing other swords and continuing the fight. It is insane. It just seems like undoable. Like, it just seems like, how did this occur? It's like a miracle that this exists.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I'm just pleading with people. If you have not seen Last Samurai Standing, it is on Netflix. It's only 6 episodes. It is insane. It is phenomenal. You need to check that out. Watch it in Japanese if you can, if you're not like a dubber, because, don't have that laughing at the Godzilla style dialogue of a dub. Just enjoy it in its native language. But Last Samurai Standing, fantastic. Now we're moving on to Best Animated Movie, Show, Cartoon, or Anime. And I'm going to start with my runner-up, which is South Park again. Obviously, this doesn't have like crazy animation detail and like beautifully animated scenes or anything. It's just South Park was on fire this year, and man, they did so much they did stuff with like deep fakes. They did stuff with the photorealistic faces over like the cardboard cutouts that they tend to do with celebrities. They did a lot of that this season. They did a lot of mockery of very high profile figures in reality. Spot on, not just in the writing and everything, but even in the art style and the animation. I mean, they got somebody's hairstyle that ended up passing away like right after the episode aired, which was kind of crazy. But they nailed this hairstyle in such a way that like you immediately knew who they were parodying before they even showed anything else, just because they nailed it so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is an achievement this year. South Park just kind of said, we don't give any fucks this year. And they did it. Tell us about your runner-up.
Yeah, my runner-up is Invincible. I thought, man, this was definitely an improvement from the previous season.
That conquest fight, man.
Yeah, the conquest fight was brutal. Oh, man. That was so good. That was the highlight of the season. And there wasn't the weird break that there was last year. So, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. My winner this year is the Chainsaw Man movie, the Reza arc. So they're going to, I think, readapt this for the TV show, broken down into episodes. But man, this is like the opposite of with South Park. They did just like absurdly detailed animation, just wild, crazy stuff happening in the animation. And they also just had this like standout moment, this pool scene that's going to be like kind of legendary, where the guy that does Chainsaw Man, the mangaka that did that, and he's done some other stuff too, but everything he does is like award winning now. It's crazy. He's just kind of like the go-to author for stuff that's like deeper than it looks on the surface. You wouldn't think something called Chainsaw Man would be deep, but there is some shit going on in that. There's something about the way he portrays intimacy that's like very unique and very strong and like just so compelling. And there's a scene in the first season Chainsaw Man that just kind of blew my mind that was in the same regards. And there's a scene in this movie where he's in like a pool with this girl. It's like on the roof of this building, and they're in this pool, and it's just intimacy done in this like amazing way where you're just like filled with wonder and horror and concern, like all at the same time. It's crazy. It's so good. Tell us about your winner.
My winner was Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. I enjoyed Castlevania Nocturne Season 1. I thought it was like a little weak, but this one came roaring back, I thought. Especially like the finale was like incredible.
Yeah, they did some cool fights and some cool stuff. Yeah, everything kind of came together on that finally.
Yeah, everything came together on it, and it ended in a satisfying fashion. It looks like this is the end of Castlevania animated. Nothing's been announced for in future projects, so unfortunately...
I think they gotta do Aria of Sorrow. They should just contract the anime studio to do that one, because it's so like a Japanese high school student kind of thing.
Yeah.
They should just contract an anime studio to do that one.
So like, unfortunately, but yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Our next category is Best Overall Movie. Start with your runner-up.
Sinners. Sinners was fantastic.
We've talked about it. We did a whole episode about it, and then we've talked about it a lot.
You did a whole episode about it. Yeah, go listen to that to like hear our in-depth thoughts on Sinners. Like really, yeah, because not gonna rehash it here.
My runner-up was One Battle After Another, which is, it's kind of interesting. It's got certain things I don't like about it, but then when it succeeds, it is like insane. It is amazing. They did this car chase scene that's unlike anything I've ever seen before. That's always like a cool moment when you're watching a movie and something happens and you're like, I have literally never seen that ever, like portrayed in like a movie or something. And they did that in One Battle After Another. There was this car chase scene towards the end that I've never seen before. I've never seen anything like that at all. And it was really well done and really cool. Talk about your winner.
My winner was Superman. To me, this was the best movie of 2025 for all the reasons.
I think more than anything, it's the movie we needed.
Yep.
Yeah. We needed that movie about hope and about compassion and kindness.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It came out at the right time.
It was refreshing.
Yeah. My best overall movie was Weapons. I think, some people are down on it. They didn't like that it kind of got defanged a bit by the end and stuff, but I just think it's so good, especially if you look at it as kind of a meditation on grief, which is what it was for Krieger. The process of making the movie was a meditation on grief for him, and I think there's so much in the movie that kind of relates back to that it's just a really fascinating story in the movie, and it's one of those times where kind of like art interacts with reality, like knowing about what was going on and why he was in that state of mind to write this and stuff informs some of what you're watching and makes it kind of more compelling in that sense. Let's talk about best overall game. I'll start with my runner-up, and this is a category where I have to admit I'm pretty much Switch 2 only. I am not playing a lot of the big games because they're not out yet on Switch 2. Some of them I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be playing Dispatch later this month because it's coming to Switch 2, but I'm pretty much Switch 2 only when it comes to my gaming. So I missed a lot of the biggest, craziest games just because they weren't on my platform, at least yet. So my runner-up is a game that I actually have quite a bit of a problem with, but I still love it. I still love the game despite having many issues with, and that's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I have so many issues with this game. I feel like I'm on the Game Witness Discord with a bunch of other people just bitching and whining about this game nonstop, about all of our issues with it. Every so often I have to like stop everybody though and say, yeah, I agree with you all about all of the faults of this game, but let's stop for a moment and just appreciate that, God, good Lord, the art direction is fantastic. Like the atmospheric music is amazing. Like there are strengths to this game. There are things that this game is doing exceptionally well. And that's why it made my runner-up. Tell us about your runner-up.
My runner-up was Expedition 33. This is a fantastic RPG. It's got a great story to it. It's got great combat, great characters. No, it's highly recommended.
I just want it to come to Switch too.
I get why it won all the awards. If you have to...
An indie game too.
An indie game too. If you have to get a gaming PC, do something to play this game. Like, it's probably not coming to Switch 2.
I think this is coming to Switch 2. I'm holding out hope this is coming to Switch 2. But yeah, I want this game. Hopefully it comes to Switch 2. And then I'll be playing it. Again, we got the same winner. I'll let you announce that one.
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Jesus Christ, man. This game blew me away. I was a little intrigued when the trailer came out, and then I was a little nervous when the Treehouse stuff started coming out. And then that direct, the first, like, game-specific direct for it came out, and I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot to this game. And I got it, and man, yeah, easily my favorite game of the year.
Oh, same.
So good. That smashing mechanic is so fucking cathartic. It feels so amazing to just burrow your way through levels in this game. Like, there's just nothing like it at all, you know? There's no game like this. And it's the Odyssey team, so it's got everything, all that polish and love that the Odyssey games have, and then you have this mechanic that's, like I said, like nothing else. Our next category is Best Overall TV or Streaming Series. Start us up with your runner-up, which is also my runner-up, but I'll let you go first.
My runner-up was Pluribus.
Yep.
For all the reasons.
Yeah. It's so good, but again, it's one of those things that when I watch it, I'm just like, I feel like I keep doubting it, and then it proves me wrong, and then I still doubt it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I'm wrong for not making this my winner, but I'm not making it my winner. I don't know, man, but I'm excited for season 2 on this one, and we'll be talking about this in detail in another podcast. And talk about your winner.
My winner was Peacemaker.
Fantastic. So good. I'm only sad that they said that that's pretty much it for Peacemaker.
Yeah.
We'll see the characters again, but
not it for the characters. So,
yeah.
Not to see what James Gunn is cooking, but yeah.
Both seasons of Peacemaker were fantastic.
They were amazing.
My winner is, again, last minute edition. Mentioned it before, Last Samurai Standing. I've already talked about it in so many different ways, but Jesus, this is such a slept on series. I mentioned one of the best sword fights, or the best sword fight I've ever seen happens in episode 5. I literally exclaimed out loud while watching it, Jesus fucking Christ. I just could not contain it. It came out of me because I was so just like in shock of what I was watching. So that, in a surprise last minute, took my streaming series of the year, The Gore.
Nice.
I'll start with the runner-up on the next category, which is Best It Was New to Me in 2025. And for me, what was new for me was Apple TV Plus. So I got to start watching all the Apple TV Plus stuff I didn't watch. So my runner-up was Severance, which I've only seen the first season of. I was watching it with my mom and sister on Thanksgiving. When my sister came down for Thanksgiving and Easter, that was what we were watching together, was Severance. We made it through the first season, and now I gotta like get on to season 2 somehow. But yeah, just really fun show. I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be, but it's still an amazing show. Really interesting. Great mystery with like a kind of like winking sense of humor to it as well, which I really like. But that's my runner-up. What's your runner-up?
My runner-up was John Wick Chapter 4, which I watched for the first time this year. That movie came out in 2023 and is currently the last of John Wick mainline films, although there is a new one in development. It has not come out. We had a whole podcast about this movie, so
we have a whole like podcast series about this series.
Yeah, about the series. So, you know, watch that for more discussion.
Crazy stunts.
I enjoyed it.
Absolutely crazy stunts and stuff in that movie. My winner is For All Mankind, another Apple TV Plus series. This is an alternate history about the space program that starts with the moon landing, and it's very historically accurate until it's not. And then like stuff starts happening. It's like, whoa, this never happened. And then the acceleration of the space race is much faster than it is. I've watched the first 2 seasons of this. I still have another 2 seasons left to watch. I didn't get to it because I got sidetracked watching all the other stuff that came out this year, like Last Samurai Standing and all these other ones that I felt compelled to get through. But I'm eager to get back to For All Mankind and jump into season 3. Season 3 begins. They're like, at this point, like it's going through time. So it starts like in the 60s, like I said. Season 3, like the tease for season 3 at the end of season 2, it's taking place in the 90s and they've put somebody on fucking Mars. So it's like, it's gone like beyond us. You know what I mean? Like it starts accelerating. At first it's like kind of accurate with what's happening, and now it's like moving way past where we are. And it's like the 90s and they're already on Mars. And it's kind of fascinating to watch. There's good things and bad things. There was like a romance thing that was done in the second season that I really didn't like. In fact, as I could see it coming, I was like practically saying out loud, please don't do this. Please don't do this. It's so stupid. Don't do this. And they did it. So there's like infuriating things too, but there's like so much about it that's just amazing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your winner.
My winner was Ready or Not, which is a horror comedy about a woman who's going to be sacrificed to the devil by the family she newly married into. Really fun movie. Got some really like clever moments and stuff to it. My first time watching it this year, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm excited. We got to cover that on the show. We have a whole episode about that.
Yes, we do.
Next up, we have our special categories. There's no runner-ups in these categories. These are categories that are just, we created unique because there's something that we want wanted to address, and we didn't get a chance to address it in something else. So we did it here and created its own category for it. I'm going to start with my first one, which is Best Decapitation. And I already brought this up, and it was in Last Samurai Standing. And there is a decapitation scene at the end of episode 2 that just blew my mind. It was so cool the way it was done. It was so fast. It was so cathartic in like the way the plot developed up to that point. Like when it finally happens, you have this character that did not want to, like, he was shaking at the thought of using his sword. He had given up using his sword, and he was like, literally, he would put his hand on his sword and he'd be shaking uncontrollably and couldn't like get himself to even draw his sword. Like he was struggling so much. And this is the point at which that broke. That dam broke for him, and it was a very cathartic moment. And like I said, the coolest decapitation I've probably ever seen in anything. Tell us your first special category.
Okay, my first special category was Best Show that was canceled just as it started getting interesting, and that was The Bondsman. Bondsman was a very short-lived
You and
Amazon
I watched this for the
series.
show, for the podcast.
Yeah, for the podcast, we did. Kevin Bacon played the protagonist. He played, like a bondsman who was killed, and then he's like resurrected by the devil. And the premise was, like he had to capture escaped demons and send them back to hell. And for the season, like usually, you get the demon of the week, and it was okay. I was like, the main story was like whatever, but the characters were fun and stuff. And then at the last episode introduces the last demon, Lilith, who like ends up getting one over on him, and it's clear that she's being set up as a primary antagonist for the series. It leaves with a cliffhanger. She's like taking over the body of his ex-wife, and he's in like some deep shit, and it ends there. And I'm kind of like, oh, this is going to be interesting going into season 2. Then Amazon announces they canceled it.
Yeah.
Because like 800 million people didn't watch it.
Tale as old as time,
Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, I guess that's going nowhere now. Yeah. So special category for that.
My second category, special category, is Best Revival, and that goes to King of the Hill. Man, Mike Judge is good at revivals. He did it with Beavis and Butthead, and now he's done it with King of the Hill.
He
did it again. It just feels authentic. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels like a cash grab. It all feels like this was meant to happen.
Nothing feels like, remember this?
Yeah, it's just
You liked
so
this
good.
back in the 90s.
And I mentioned it to somebody else, and this was like it was with Beavis and Butthead, where when you're watching the new episodes of Beavis and Butthead, you're like, wow, it's like every episode of the new series is like one of the best episodes of the old series.
Yeah.
It's like you'd watch 4 seasons of the old series and go like, yeah, these are the 10 episodes I really like. And then you watch the new series and it's like, I like every single one of these episodes. It's just like they made a best of album, but it's all new. And it's crazy. And he did it again with King of the Hill. And it's so good. It's just so good. If you like King of the Hill at all, watch the revival. It is like perfect. And tell us your final special category.
My final special category was Oddest Obvious Product Placement, Peanut Butter Boppers in Stranger Things Season 5. I thought this was odd because, I get it. They were like a thing in the 80s. But like in the first part of this, there's several scenes where like Steve is like referencing these and he won't stop talking about them. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is weird. Like I vaguely remember those existing. They weren't that exciting. And then I looked it up and they were doing like Nature Valley, who produced them. They were discontinued. They were discontinued ages ago. But I looked it up and Nature Valley was like doing a promotional tie-in with Stranger Things where they made like a limited edition like batch of these things. They sold them on their website in a limited drop. It was like $20 a box. Like, what, 5 bars? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I saw that price. They sold out immediately, apparently.
It reminds me of the Szechuan sauce thing from like Rick and Morty. It's like, it's crazy.
I was like, man, $20 for a box of these things. I don't know. I just thought that like that was like a bit odd because like they're brought up a lot in like part 1 and then like they're never mentioned again in like the subsequent parts. Like Steve just forgot they existed and he was so into them. That just struck me as a little odd. So I had to mention it.
All right. Next up, and these aren't award categories, but we just thought we should make a section where we talk about non-winners that are worth recognizing. We'll start with one that we did the same, which was Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai
was good. Good final season. We just didn't talk about it.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, like I really enjoyed the final season of Cobra Kai. I didn't really like find room for it in my awards. I'm sorry.
I think
Cobra
part of
Kai.
it too is that they stretched out the final season over like a whole fucking year.
Yeah.
Like where and the last part came out this year, but the rest of the parts came out last year or the year before, you know? And it's like, Jesus, they really spread out that season. So it kind of took away some of the impact of that. But yeah, the last couple episodes of Cobra Kai were like really good, especially at conveying what that series was all about, which was kind of like this Karate Kid nostalgia.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Another one that I put as a best non-winner worth recognizing is one we mentioned here. Specifically, you mentioned that we didn't have it in any of the categories, and I did put it here, and that is Companion.
Yeah, Companion. Companion I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy it to the level where I felt like it deserved any awards. I thought it was like, it's fine. It's
the
a
same
fine
with
movie.
me. Like, I looked at it for a lot of awards and was like, no, it's just not quite at that level.
Yeah.
As the other ones, but it was still so good, and it felt kind of weird. Like, when I got to the end of the list, I was like, oh man, I'm thinking about Companion a lot, but I got nowhere to put it.
Yeah, it wasn't like that for me. Like, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it for what it was.
All right. I'll save your last pick just because you only have one more on here, and I'll push through my other two and give you yours last, which is,
okay.
My other two, I have Octopath Traveler 0.
Mr. Overachiever has to do 4.
I had big doubts about Octopath Traveler 0 because it is basically an adaptation of the mobile game. And so I was like, yeah, this is going to be trash. I'm not going to be interested. A demo came out. I tried it. I was like, oddly enough, it doesn't feel like a mobile game at all. Like, it feels like they kind of just got rid of all the kind of hooks that were in place to make it a mobile game. They're just gone. And like, I was surprised by that. I'm like, this is good. Like, I'm so glad they did that. And then as I'm continuing to play it, I'm like, they've also kind of ironed out a lot of the issues that the entire franchise has had. And it kind of surprised me. It still has some issues. There's still some issues that I don't like about the entire franchise, but 0 kind of gets rid of some of the ones that I had before. So it kind of surprised me. So if you're on the fence about that, there is a demo and your progress bar is over. And then my last pick in this group is Alien Earth. I think Alien Earth was interesting. I think it wasn't great necessarily, but there were things about it that I really liked. There were things about it that really surprised me. And I think it kind of deserves a recognition like this, where it's not an award, but it's just like a last minute. Also, this came out.
Oh, yeah.
And then tell us about your last one that you have on your list here.
My last one was Daredevil Born Again, season 1, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed it, but it was uneven. And it was uneven precisely because they started doing one thing and then they pivoted to another direction, but like the remnants of like the original are still there because, you know, they kept some stuff from the original version of the show. So it ended up being a bit uneven. I couldn't find a place for it in the awards this year. I'm hoping like season 2 is on that next level. But yeah, unfortunately it just didn't make the awards this year.
Yeah. And then our last group here is disappointments. These are things that we were looking forward to that ended up letting us down. Let's start with one that we have that's the same. We have one that is the same for both of us, and that is Captain America Brave New World. Oof, what a disappointment.
Yeah, that movie. Yeah, like I said before, it was a movie that didn't know whether it wanted to be a Hulk movie or a Captain America movie.
Or a good movie.
It tried to be both, and it fell flat on its face.
Yeah. I've said this before. We did an episode where we talked about this and Thunderbolts, and what I said there I think I still stand by, which is you can't make a character that's like a super genius that's perfect in their calculations in every way, and then not successfully show them to be that.
Right, exactly.
It just makes the whole movie not believable, and I think that's exactly what happened with this, where they had like, this character calculates everything perfectly. Their plan is so perfect, and everything they did was stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just ruined any sense of immersion I had in the movie. And that's just on top of its myriad of other problems, you know?
Oh, for sure.
So talk about another one on your list here.
Another one on my list is Fantastic Four First Steps, and it hurts me. This did make the awards, because, again, I love the art direction, I love the cast. You know, trailers for this made me think I was gonna absolutely love this movie. It's gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year. Unfortunately, the story itself is just completely flat.
Yeah.
It has like the thinnest, bare bones story. The antagonist isn't like really that interesting. It's just,
This is like Metroid Prime 4 in the sense that I still like the movie.
Yeah,
but it's like
the
there's so much that disappoints me about it, you know?
Think of the podcast said that it's a solid B for me, but yeah, it was so much disappointing.
Yeah, this should have been an A+, and it was a B, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Alright, another one I'm going to talk about. This one hurts because I had high hopes for this. I love the actor. I was like, oh, this is going to be a great chance for this actor to be showcased. And the movie is one of, if not the worst movie I've seen this entire year. It is just an absolute trash movie with almost no redeeming qualities of any kind, and that is Love Hurts, which is Ke Huy Quan's movie, his first role as a leading man in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
The title says it all. The title's Love Hurts, and man, this movie hurts. Because it sucks. It is just a pile of shit. It is a horrible movie. It is crap. I would not recommend it to anybody. It is not worth watching. There is almost no redeeming quality of any kind in the movie. It's just garbage. And it's really sad to say that because this should have been a real thing to honor an actor that's kind of underseen, that kind of got like a moment to blow up. And this should have been his movie to really honor him as an actor. And instead we got just crap. So it's really sad. And that's it for that one. Tell us your next disappointment.
The next disappointment is The Last of Us Season 2. I really enjoyed Season 1 of The Last of Us. I thought it was fantastic. Pedro Pascal and all that. And then Season 2 just, not do it for me.
Yeah, I think with me, I was already not looking forward to Season 2 just because I have, zombie apocalypse fatigue. I was just kind of over it in Season 1. And in Season 1 had like enough good things that I still liked it, but I still felt fatigued watching it. And then Season 2 came out and it was like, everything just falls apart. Everything that I liked in the first one's not there. And it's just all the shit that fatigued me, and that's all that's there.
It falls apart, yeah. Unfortunately, the story, it switches Bella Ramsey's Ellie as the main protagonist. Joel, Pedro Pascal, is no longer a major part of it. And unfortunately for me, and I don't know if it's just this, but I just felt like Bella Ramsey was really struggling to carry this on her own as the protagonist. Just a lot of it just did not seem to work.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I just have no interest in Season 3 now. I'm done.
Right.
I'm tapping out.
I will say though, Caitlin Deaver's Abby was the highlight of the season. She was so good in that. I am interested in, especially if Season 3 is going to focus on her character. I think I'm interested in that to see more of her story. But yeah, unfortunately it just, I am rooting for it to bounce back with Season 3.
I got another really big disappointment on my list. Another one you haven't seen, and that's Running Man. Edgar Wright, what the fuck, man? What went wrong?
Oh, Edgar Wright did you dirty.
Yeah, it's what went wrong here? Everything on paper should have worked, and it just doesn't. It's just not good. And it's one of those things that the more time you sit on it, the more you dislike it. You get out of the movie and you're kind of okay, so the first 2/3 were good, and then the last third is just, it fell apart. And then you sit on it for a little longer and you're you know what? I just don't think any of it was that good. It had a few little moments and stuff, but other than those few moments, it's just not there. And then you sit on it a little longer and it's just okay, this was just a bad movie. This just did not work. And it's kind of depressing. It's what are you doing, Edgar, right? You're a great director. How did this happen? It's the kind of thing that I feel my enjoyment of the first 2/3 might have just been me in sort of a state of Stockholm syndrome. Oh, it's still good. It's still good. It's gotta still be good. And then you finish it and you're this is not good. What happened? This is not good.
That is so disappointing. I haven't seen it personally, but I know that looked like it had all the ingredients to be amazing. It had the trailer looked great. It looked like a lot of fun. So I am very sorry to hear this about that movie.
Yeah.
But it's not just you that I've heard that sentiment from. I've seen that sentiment online about this film. And ultimately, it's just not a good film.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But that is it for this week, for this podcast. We're going to be back next week, and we're going to be talking about Stranger Things 5, Part 2, and the finale. We've watched it. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because it all kind of happened when we were on break. We were on break during Christmas and New Year's, and that's when the last two parts of it came out. So we're going to be discussing those final parts of Stranger Things as the entire series, the end of it next week. So that's going to be our topic then, so stay tuned for that. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Tyson Gifford. You can follow Will. He is at FoxLoHero. You can check out our website, thetotalscreen.blogspot.com. You can go there and open up the Container Store for any of our podcast episodes and scroll down to the bottom paragraph and find all of our relevant links to our social accounts, our SoundCloud page. All of that is there. You can also subscribe to our podcast through your favorite podcast client of choice like Apple Podcasts or Pocket Cast, and the entire backlog of our podcast, as well as additional content, and our entire 300 episode run of our old podcast is all available on our YouTube channel as well, which you can find by going to thetotalscreen.blogspot.com and going into one of the Container Stories, like I mentioned, and scrolling down and finding all those links. They're all there. So until next week, thank you everybody for listening. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to the OnScreen podcast, the official podcast of The Total Screen. Visit our website at thetotalscreen.com. This podcast can be found on any major podcast client, including Pocket Cast and Apple Podcast. The entire backlog of this podcast and other content can be found on our YouTube channel.